We're working on debates. Okay, so we've chosen an issue, and we've organized an argument. We've done research. So not only do we have a stance on an issue, not only do we have a claim, but we have a substantiated claim. We have evidence and reasons to back up what we're trying to say. So instead of doing our debate up in front of the classroom, how are we doing it? We're going to record a podcast. We listen to a podcast. We've listened to a couple podcasts now, so you're kind of getting the idea of what they are and what they're supposed to sound like. Why a podcast? Why are we doing our debates through podcasts? Why is that better, do you think? What do you think?
So you don't have to take all the papers home and grade them?
That is a benefit. Why? But for you guys, why is this better? Diamond?
So we don't get nervous, and if you make an arrow, they won't see it.
I kind of agreed with Diamond on that. I kind of felt like this would be a good way to help you do your debate and not be so nervous, because you wouldn't be up in front of everybody. Kyra, can you think of another reason why?
I also if you really did everything and you went over it, and so you can go back.
Yeah, that's kind of cool, right? You can edit these, and that's something that we're going to talk about how to do today. The other thing that we're going to do is, so you have this first round of debates, and then next week we're going to work on our second round of debates. And what we're going to end up doing is putting all of this into a timeline so that you can see how you've grown from the very beginning to the very end. So that part's going to be kind of neat too. If you were just doing a debate, I need all hands and laps and all eyes this way. If you were doing a debate just in front of the classroom, it's kind of one of those things where you're nervous. So then after you go sit back down, it's like you don't even remember what happened. Does that happen to you sometimes when you're nervous? It happens to me. So this is a way that you can not only remember how you did, but you can also go back and listen to yourself and kind of say, you know what, I did this really well. This is something that my group needs to work on. So let's talk about the rubric really quickly for this assignment. Let me get that passed out and let's chat about that.
I have a question.
Yes.
So on the rubric, is it kind of like when we had our science reports, we had to list our research, or like where our evidence is from?
We're going to talk about that, because the thing about a podcast is your audience can't see it, right? Mm-hmm. So this is different than a presentation. The reason we've done Google Slides is just to help you with organization, not because anybody's going to look at it. Nobody's going to look at it, not even me. You're not submitting it, ever. The whole point of it is to help you sound more organized as you go through your podcast, because that's something that we've discussed, is that they sound like they are just talking. They don't necessarily sound like they're reading. So by putting it in Google Slides as opposed to like a Google Doc, it'll help you see it a little bit better, because it's bigger. So let's look at the rubric. Let's talk about how this rubric is a little bit different than if you were doing it just out in front of everybody. There you go. All right. So first of all, evidence and organization. Now, those are, if you were writing an essay, those would be in the rubric, wouldn't they? If you were presenting this debate in front of the class, those would be in the rubric, wouldn't they? Yes. Listening and responding to the other team. You're using evidence to argue, refute a claim. You are respectfully listening to the other team. Your rebuttal shows that you closely listen to the other team, and your claims are clear and they have evidence that clearly relates. If you were presenting this debate in front of the class, like in the YouTube video that we watched, this would be in the rubric, right? Okay, let's look at the next two. The next two are a little bit different. For speaking. For speaking, a clear voice. That means a moderate volume. Not too loud, not too soft. Somewhere right in the middle. Why is that important in a podcast? Thinking back to the podcast that we listened to, why is this important?
You want to set your attention.
All right, so what we have on our computers right now is the Audacity program, and this is what you'll be using when you go in the planning center and record your podcast, and it'll be the 4 of you in there by yourselves, okay? Of course, you can come get me if you need help, but I feel like this is something that you guys will probably get to the point that you can do on your own. There will only be this computer and this microphone set up when you go in there. But we want all of you to know how to do it, which is why everybody has one in front of them. But we're going to really kind of focus on India's computer because this is the one that you'll be using when you actually do the assignment. Okay, so when you're looking at Audacity, the whole point of the program is to record your voice. You can do some other cool effects, and we'll talk about those, but the whole point of this program is to record your voice. So if you look up in the top left-hand corner, you'll see some little tabs that have very familiar symbols. The pause symbol, the play symbol. What is the square? Stop. What are the backwards arrows? Rewind. What are the forward arrows? Fast forward. What do you think the red one is? Record. Right. So when we record, when you're ready to start, that's the one that you're going to want to hit. Now I'm going to show you how to edit. So if you want to record it, but it takes you a minute to start, that's going to be okay. All right. Better to hit record too soon than to hit it too late and miss part of what you're saying. All right. So we're going to keep the microphone right in the middle of the table. Let's just do a practice one. And I'll give everybody kind of a chance to practice. So move your computer cursor up to the record button. Is everybody there? Okay. Click record and just start talking to. Click record and just say testing, testing.
Testing.
Say it one more time.
Testing. Testing.
Now click on the little yellow box. Okay. Use the rewind button. If you click it one time, it will take it all the way to the beginning for you. Okay. Now click on the play button to hear yourself.
Testing.
Do it one more time. Testing. Testing.
See?
Little yellow box.
All right, awesome. It's pretty easy, right? That's pretty much what you do. So when you'll sit down to start your podcast, you'll click the red circle, give it a minute or two to go, okay, yeah, it wants me to record, and then we'll start. And the first team that's going to go will say, we are arguing that zoos are good for animals. And you'll get started. You'll start right away. You can kind of jump right back into it. Now, let's say that there's a part of the podcast like you started a little late. Like I'm looking at Jessica's, and from 0 to 2, there's not much of anything. Is yours kind of like that also? From like 0 to 1, there's not much. That's just where you all hit record at a different time. Okay, so what you can do is here, come around here and look at this. Come here, come here, come here. What you'll do, you want to be sure that you have this guy. This one that it says selection tool. Do you see it? Okay, so you start wherever, like, I'm going to start right here because I can tell that this is where the voice starts. How do I know that that's where the voice starts?
Because it goes up and down.
Yeah, and that's your noise. This would be really loud, and these places are really quiet. So I want to take this out. So I'm going to click right here on the left and drag it over. See how that part is highlighted? Delete. Now it's gone. Do you see another quiet part that I might want to get rid of? That part. All right, so now Kyrie, show us how to do it. Yep, exactly. So now when I want to rewind it and hear what my cuts sound like, what do I need to do?
Press play.
Well, if I press play right now, it's going to play it from right here. If I want to hear it, yeah, if I want to go back over here, I have two options. I can either click over here, but see how it's hard to get it all the way to the beginning? So I might want to go back up here and use these. All right.
Testing.
Say it one more time.
Testing. Testing.
Now click on the little yellow box.
Okay, so I have that much done.